Well, I haven't totally given up on the idea of replicating a Lenco L-70 tone arm head shell. As you can see, I've removed my tone arm from my L-70 only because I got a Audio-Technica um, tone arm and put it on there, and I really, really like it. So I'm not sure I'll probably ever go back to this, but I'm going to keep it with the turntable. So if one day I do sell it or something like that, or pass it on to somebody, it'll at least come with all its original parts. So in the meantime, I do have this, and I had said that I would try my darndest to get this replicated. And as you can see, I've made a number of models using my 3D printer, some in varying degrees of being cleaned up and everything. This was another attempt that I made using the skin from a pop can to over a 3D printed interface here, but just couldn't get it to work. Couldn't get this to sit properly into the tone arm mount. As you can see the posts that it has to mate up with, and I just don't have the tolerances and the gear to be able to machine something like that. So I've tried another tact. One other tact that I tried, and if I can find it, was to have a pressure fit. This fit the outer edge of this, which I got it to work fairly decently, but it didn't really stay, and it wasn't very sturdy or whatever. So what I did was I ordered this 8mm tubing, of which I cut a little section so that it would be the same distance, as you can see, sticking out as the regular arm. So I've cut that down, trimmed it, and I pressure seat it. I haven't glued it or anything yet, but that'll be doable. And my current thinking is I got these Headshell lead wires from a place in China. So what I'm going to try to do is fit these onto the posts inside there and have them feed through the head shell. And if I can see one of these sleds here, here's one of the tone arm sleds. You can see the hole there where a screw would come through and mate, or a bolt would come through and mate to that, and then mate it up to a cartridge that'll be mounted on this, and in turn the head shell lead wires will be hooked up to the cartridge. So that's my next tact, and I'm trying to do this one-handed, but it's kind of difficult. But I'm finding that this thing actually fits quite snugly in there. Now it's not going to have that one little pin here on the bottom, so it just means that once you get it all set up and everything, that you have to use a spirit level just to make sure your head shell is level in both directions. So that's my current thinking. We'll see how it goes, and I'm going to see if I can get it all mated up, and then I'll see if I can get it to make proper contact, and then I can just use a multimeter and just make sure that I've got continuity to my lead wires and everything. So see how that pans out. All right, there, I think I've accomplished it. So you can see how I've extended the lead wires out from inside, and I had to actually, because these lead wires are so much bigger than the pins, I had to actually pinch the ends on the other end there to get them to sit nice and snugly onto the pins inside the tone arm. And then I seated this thing, and it's pressure seated, and it's actually in there quite snug. And then what I could do is, you can see how it's in there quite nicely, and then what I could do is just hit it with a little bit of crazy glue just to prevent that thing from rotating once I get it to a point where I'm happy that it's horizontal, so it is adjustable. And then I would just hit it with a little bit of glue there, and Bob's your uncle. Glue right along the outside edge there, and then Bob's your uncle. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down, and then I'm going to do a continuity check between each of these wires and the tone arm wires. And if that works, I think this is a workable idea, a workable concept anyway. So let's give that a whirl. Here's the RCA jacks that go into the Lenco, but all that is an electrical connection from the headshell wire down to the lead wires off the tone arm, and then they just made up to this mounting block here. And so once you've got continuity to there, you can easily get the continuity out to the ends of the RCAs. So I'm going to do this off camera just because I can't operate the multimeter there, and be able to hit the ends of the pins here. But I'll report back and let you know how it turned out. So great success. I got it to work. The only thing I can't get working is my balancing system here. This thing just will not balance. Of course it's light. I don't have a cartridge in it right now, but I did go from the lead wires that you can see underneath there, and did continuity checks to all of the lead wires here and at the bottom, and it works just peachy keen. So in principle this will work, but it will require a certain amount of tweaking and getting your balance level on the head shell. Unfortunately, my 3D printer is not printing as cleanly as I would like. I probably got to do some tweaking on it to get the bed perfectly flat. Might actually be better to do a resin 3D print of these head shells. I would think it would be a lot cleaner, but the concept of just taking this tubing here, and if I can find another one of these head shells that I got lying around here, the idea of taking this hole here and pressure seating a small length of this tubing, and then going with head shell wires that you can get in little packets that I got from China. They were quite inexpensive. I got I think I got about 8 sets or whatever. There you go. And you just crimp the ends and put it on to the pins inside your tone arm, and then funnel those wires through the just lop off a little section to make sure it's the right length, and popping that through is doable. Whether I would want to go into production on something like that, I'm just a DIYer, so it's not my lane, but I've certainly made available these head shells on I'll make them available on Thingiverse, I guess. First I'll have to ask permission from the fellow that designed it, because I don't want to be releasing his design. And yeah, then people can I can send a link in there where you can get this tube stock. I've got a couple of lengths of it just because that's the way it came. You could probably make about 20 head shells out of just one length of tubing, and I've got a couple of lengths there, so I can send that to somebody if they want to have a go at it. But that's where I'm at, and that's probably where I'm going to stay, because I kind of like the other tone arm that I have. I'm not really thrilled about this tone arm, quite truthfully. So, thank you for watching.